Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. And today's deck tech, once you've hit the like button, the subscribe button and all the rest of it down there, which I hope you have done by now, is in honour of Dominaria Remastered coming out now. As I record this video, this has been the draft release weekend for my local friendly gaming store. I couldn't make it because unfortunately one of my dogs is ill and I've had to be at home looking after them. So, but I was looking through the spoiler list on certain websites and I saw this commander and it took me back to a time when I first moved where I now live in the UK. And I remember going to my local Sunday tournament, because we used to have a Sunday tournament once a month in Gravesend. And I played this deck. And I hadn't played Magic at that stage. I'd had a bit of a break. I'll still be collecting cards, but I'd had a bit of a break for about 3 years. And I took this deck down, what I thought was going to be fantastic. And I got trounced all day long, but I loved every minute of it. And I still have a real sweet spot for this particular legend. So, the legend for today, without any more talking and without further ado, is Rith, the Awakener. Now, just been reprinted in Dominaria Remastered. If you don't know what it does, it's 3 red, green and white for a 6/6 flying legendary dragon. And it has a nice little ability that says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 and a green. And if you do, choose a colour. And then you create a green permanent, a 1/1 green sapling creature token for each permanent of that colour. And it's each permanent of that colour in play, if I remember correctly. So you can get a lot of saplings. So I decided to go down to like a Rith, a deck that I've, and a few of the cards in this deck are ones I played in my original deck back in the day. And some of them are new ones and updated and all the rest of it. But I really decided to go down to like a sapling style deck, maybe. Not really true saplings like I've done before, but, a red and a green and a white sapling deck that had Rith running it. So, without further talking, here's the deck itself. He says, as he tries to minimise this. There we go. Right, so we've got 27 creatures in the deck. We've got 35 other things and 37 lands. The lands are things that I just play because they're on MTGO. So Arid Messers in here. There's one of each, so like green, red and white land you can think of. I've chucked in Gaze Cradle because obviously hopefully I'm going to make a lot of saplings, so I need the mana ramp from here. We've also gone in with Plateaus in here, Savannahs in here. Again, the cost when you look at the deck list down below is going to be ridiculous, but on MTGO it's not too bad. So that's why they're here. The ramp, I went a bit old school on it, to be fair. Mox Tantalite Soul Talisman weren't around then. Soul Ring wasn't legal. Birds of Paradise was, though. And then, because it's Commander, we've got Arcane Signet, but, Boris Signet, Gruul Signet, Celestia Signet. I went that side just for a bit of fun, just, bring back some memories for me. And the rest of the deck is pretty much all built around Rith's colours and the idea of getting some tokens into play. So, to start with the ramp, we've got Avacyn's Pilgrim and Birds of Paradise. Yes, it's a red deck. Yes, I've got Dockside. I've said it enough in all the videos. Sorry. Bloom Tender is also in. We get quite a few permanents that are 3 colours in the deck. And, that does give us a nice little bit of ramp. So, hence it's here. Farseek to go and find something like Jetmir's Garden would be what the aim of Farseek's for. Incubation Druid to ramp. Lotus Cobra to help us ramp a little bit quicker. Prosperous Innkeepers, we gain a little bit of life because, I want to gain a little bit of life with this deck. And if we're going to be producing lots of saplings off Rith, we'll gain a lot of life, so that'll be cool. Rampant Growth to sort of like find that basic land we're missing. We have got 4 of each in the deck, by the way. I didn't scroll down the whole list, as well as the usual things like Reliquary Tower, Temple of the False God, so on and so forth. But we've got 4 forests, 4 mountains, 4 plains in the deck. We can go and get the missing one with Rampant. Carroted, so we've got some hexproof colour ramping, and then I've also put in Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves so we can protect Rith as soon as we come down. Brian Kibler would be upset if I didn't protect Rith in a commander deck, I'm sure. To help with getting the land into play, Azusa's here, Cultivate's here, Search for Tomorrow's here as well. The other things we've got is Fight Rigging, just so we can make things bigger and then hopefully get the Hideaway card out really quickly. We've got Growing Rights of Imlotic, so we can, play this as well as the Gaze Cradle, because this should flip quite easily with the amount of saplings I'm hoping to reproduce. I've put in Cabaretti Ascendancy just for the laugh factor. It's a nice way of drawing an extra card every turn, basically. So, you know, untap, upkeep, draw. 2 cards a turn. That's quite nice for this deck, hence why it's here. And there's a lot of creatures in here, and there's a few planeswalkers. So, you know, I would imagine 50% of the time we might be drawing an extra card with a bit of luck. Incandescent Areas here. Deals 3 damage to each non-token creature you control that is in play. Yeah, so it means our token creatures survive, because, you know, to each non-token. So if we've got a load of saplings in play, they might survive this, which would be quite nice and leave us with a board presence, even if they are 1/1s. To help make sure we get lots of saplings, Anointed Procession, Parallel Lives, and over here somewhere I've even got Doubling Season. I went with all of them for this one, just for the fun factor of it. I've also gone with Benelish Commander. Yes, it doesn't produce saplings, but it does produce soldiers, and we can suspend this quite happily, and having a little blocker appear for nothing every turn doesn't seem like a bad thing to me to sneeze at. Bit of ball control with Day of Judgment. We've also got Doomscar in here and Farewell to wipe everything out if need be. Defiler of Instincts here. We've got a few red permanents, and we might as well ping things as these happen. You know, it's not many, but if with this in play and casting Rith every time, we can't complain too much if it gets killed. Sapling Symbiosis was in my original standard deck back in the day with Rith, so I had to play it in this deck. Let's have as many saplings as we can get into play. That would be great. Garrick, just to untap the lands. If we could untap Gaze Cradle with it, that's fantastic. Otherwise, we can just produce some beast tokens, you know. And if you've got Anointed Procession, Parallel Lives, and Doubling Season in play, you do get quite a few beasts for minusing 1 on old Garrick over here. Sammer, I've chucked in just to make sure we give everything haste where we are creating things. And, you know, a bit of +2/+1 and scrying's not too sad at all. New cards, Tana the Bloodsower's in. Obviously, we're not partnering this with anything, but, you know, deals combat damage for player, creates some more saplings, and I thought it was just a bit of fun. It's probably not going to get through that often, but hey, it produces saplings. Why wouldn't I want it in the deck? Heroic Reinforcements is a nice way of just producing a few more soldiers, pumping everything, giving everything haste. You know, it is possible you get to a point where you've got 12, 14 mana kicking around. Rith gets replayed, you cast Heroic Reinforcements. Still got a bit of mana left to activate Rith with, but yeah. Trostani's in just so I can populate and gain some life. And because we're playing the right colours, it felt fair that Jetmir would come and join the party now with Rith, just to pump everything up. Have you ever seen anyone get upset with you attacking with some 4/1 saplings with Trample and Double Strike and Vigilance? It's quite a fun thing to happen, really. Rabble Rousing's in. Again, whenever we attack with creatures, we get that many citizen tokens, so that's nice. Defiler of Faith's in as well, just so it gives us more soldier tokens. I am sitting here going, I'm not sure if Tender Shoot Dryad should be in here, but of course it should be, because it does all the pumpage of the saplings when you hit the ascend bit. Defiler of Vigor, just so we can make our creatures a bit bigger when they come in. My Cloth, so we can devour some of the saplings we've made and make even more saplings at our upkeep, which is lovely. Had to play the other version of Rith, the Liberated Primeval. I figured it was, you know, pay a bit of respect to Rith and play this one as well. We've got a few other dragons kicking around. I'm actually now going to take one out, actually, thinking about it, because I just realised something. I don't want Palladir in here. What I do want here is my usual one I haven't put in, because I have suffered recently in some games where I've been milled out. So I'm just chucking the elixir in. So sorry for the slight change. Farewell I've mentioned. Ancient Copper Dragons here, so we can get some treasures, you know. Get more treasures, get more treasures, get more treasures. Thank you. Garrick, Caller of Beasts, works very nicely with Doubling Season, like all the Planeswalkers do, as you know. And if we can actually have Doubling Season out, then cast Garrick, Caller of Beasts, and instantly do the -7. Yeah, your opponents are in a whole world of hurt over the next few turns. Soul of Zendikar. I could have, you know, I wanted to play this one. Why not? Just make some beast tokens. You know, we're between Gaze Cradle and the Growing Rights. We should be able to get quite a few beasts out if we can when they flip. Titania's commands in here as well. More tokens, more +1/+1 counters. This one also, this is one of the few decks where I'm playing green, where I'll probably use the second ability a bit more to go and get the land cards we need. So I want to go and get Gaze Cradle out in Jetmir's Garden as quickly as possible. Domri City Smasher was a Planeswalker that came in, if you remember the Planeswalker decks that came with sets many years ago, before it all got a bit more competitive with Commander. This was one of the face cards of one of the ones from Ravnica one of the Ravnica sets, can't remember which one. Allegiance, there you go. But I quite like the +2 on this. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain haste. It's also got -3 where you can go, let's lightning bolt something. And then, -8 +3, put 3 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Those creatures gain trample until the end of turn. Yeah, I'll deal with that. That's fine. But the +2 is what I like it for. And I figured, it's again a deck card I had in a standard deck many years ago when they were legal and standard, and I decided to bring it back for this one. Dragon Brood Mothers here, just so we can get some tokens at the beginning of each of our opponents' upkeeps. And, if we're devouring saplings, well, dragons eat saplings. Made sense in my head anyway. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Old Nullbone to get some more treasures. Ancient Gold Dragon to get some other sorts of dragons. Some blue fairy dragons, apparently. I'm so glad there's not a blue mana symbol in this card, by the way. It goes in a lot of white decks for me at the moment. Backup win condition, Approach of the Second Sun made sense. Dragons fly towards the sun, do they? I don't know. No, that's moths towards the moon, isn't it? But, well, whatever. They could fly towards the sun, hence the approaches in here. To make sure we have a lot of saplings, Verdant Forces here. Getting a sapling at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep's lovely. Always gives you a blocker. That doesn't mean you've got to put Verdant Force in the way of something with Death Touch. Blasphemous Act, we can actually wipe the board if we need to. And the Great Aura. This is quite fun. If you get a few saplings out and you get this cast off, oh my giddy aunt, you end up ahead of the game. And it's just fun. And I haven't played it for a while, so it went in this deck just for the laugh factor. As I've said in my other deck tech videos, it's a green deck. Here's Apex Devastator again. Still love this card. Still think it's fantastic. Still going to play it in many green decks until people tell me to stop. And the final card, which I thought would be quite funny, March of the Multitudes. If we've got a whole lot of saplings off Rith in one turn, and we've got a couple of spare white mana kicking around, we can convoke those saplings to make even more white soldier tokens. So I decided it was a bit of a laugh. Anointed Procession, obviously, Parallel Lives, Doubling Season, etc. really help with this. But yeah, I decided to go down that road because I thought it would be quite funny. But that's it. This is a little bit shorter than normal today. Mainly because I'm running out of voice at the moment. So, I've done a lot of recording recently. Hope you've been watching them, and I hope you've all been subscribed to the channel by now. But yeah, that's my take on Rith, and I thought I'd do a little bit of thing to acknowledge Dominaria Remastered coming out. By the time you see this, we'll be leading up towards the pre-release weekend for the wonderfulness that is Phyrexia All Will Be One. So expect to see a lot more deck text from me shortly, because I think it comes up on MTGO next week sometime, I believe. So I will be up doing them as soon as possible. I may do some before then, just so we've got some out. But there is someone, if you go and look down my list of videos, a while back I did do Elish Norn when it's first spoiled. So go and have a look on my take on Elish Norn. That will be updated, but that's a good starting point for other videos you may want to watch. But hey, thanks for being here this long. Take care, and hopefully, down below, Twitch, come and see me on Twitch playing some of the decks I talk about. I'll hopefully see you over there soon. Take care. Bye.